Greetings, Podlayer. It's my third attempt at this. Hopefully, I can get through it. So I'll start off with why I think Podlayer makes sense to me. The first caption tenant, not really tenant, but headline of Podlayer is energy evolving, something like that. Sorry if I don't have it perfectly correct. And that sort of jives with my thinking if I'm going to be Discordian, consulting my pineal gland. That makes sense to me. People that I have much respect for, Buckminster Fuller, he said, I'm not a thing, a noun. I seem to be a verb, an evolutionary process. I didn't write down the full quote, but something like that. And that goes along the lines of, it's pretty close to energy evolving of Podlayer. Also, Alan Watts, huge respect for him. And one of his basic ideas that he's sort of putting forward, that people are more of actions, patterns, and you recognize someone by the pattern. He used a whirlpool, and you go by the river and you see the whirlpool, and you recognize that whirlpool. Now the water is totally different. Everything else is totally different, but that pattern, you recognize that whirlpool. That's that thing. You see a person, friend. Uh, for me, I don't know. People have a pattern about them. They act in a certain way. They move in a certain way. They dance in a certain way. And that seems to go along with Podlayer, from my understanding. So far, so long, Podlayer is jiving with me. And the idea that patterns can manifest themselves, personality patterns, mojos, can manifest themselves in body movements, facial movements, the hand movements. That makes sense to me. That's a possibility that could happen, and that something could be totally overlooked. The young said, the human psyche is there's so much unknown about it. There's so little that we know about it, and that's affecting our entire world. So that's the next frontier. That's something that we should be learning, and there's so much that we can uncover. And so these ideas that physical manifestations come out through a personality, an ingrained personality, ingrained mojo, to use Podlayer. That's totally plausible, and I don't understand why the haters of Podlayer can't get that. Who's the bald guy? The bald guy is just like, what did he say? He said Podlayer is a bunch of hooey or something. Like, it wasn't really even. It's not a good argument. That's nothing. That's just someone saying that. Like, it's like, so you're a jerk. Why? You're just a jerk. NF geeks calling you guys bullies. I could sort of see that, but if from what I've seen, you guys are offering way more than what NF geek says. But the guy's really nice. I really like him as a person. But for teaching and whatnot, you guys are putting way more out there. You got the production is so much bigger, and I get why you would be going on other personality sites or YouTube channels, because people interested in those would be interested in Podlayer. And if Podlayer theories are all spot on, closer than anybody else's, then yeah, who cares? I'm sorry, Dave. Oh, it's not Dave. Um, shit, I forget the guy's name from Minor Geeks. You know, um, this needs to get out there, and it can really revolutionize, how humans interact and how the world is, because the world is totally messed up, and it is because of humans, us. We're screwing this up, and we need to change, and it has something to do with the goings on of our minds, our thoughts, are which lead to our actions. So you know you got to get it out there somewhere, and so that totally I understand why you guys would do it the way you have, and if the product's right, if the what you're giving out is legit, and so far it has been, what I've gone through is resonated with me. It made sense to me. So yeah, obviously you're gonna, you gotta get it out there somehow, and that's the most legitimate way. Um, Makes sense to me, a logical way, um, to go through YouTube channels where people are interested in personality. Mojos are very close to that. It makes sense that people would be interested in personalities that should be interested in Podlayer. And what else? So the social bubbles so far have made sense of if that's something that it's when someone says like the truth, it's almost like it's like remembering. I forget who said it is. We're self-remembering, um, but it's so spot on. When you interact with two people, and when you interact with three people, that dynamic that you said in the social alchemy, that totally changes in how people interact. And you could have, and I've noticed it now after you said that, like it's way more apparent to me now. Of It could be the two people acting as leaders, sort of like teachers to the one person, or three people interacting as leaders. But it totally changes the dynamic, and that's um, I've found myself more